Rama, after he finished his studies, he sat down in a room, never came out. In Yoga Vasishtha, the story goes, never he came out. Now the king is worried. The prince is not showing any interest in anything. In administration, in friendship, in moving around, nothing. He's simply closing the house and sitting. Like depressed. Then father, as usual, doesn't understand what it is. So Guru comes, Vasishtha comes. So he praised Vasishtha and said, please see, the Rama is behaving like this. Vasishtha goes to Rama. And he says, why are you sitting in one place? Then he says, oh teacher, because he's the family teacher. What shall I do? I am not interested in this position anymore of my father being the king, because I am not the first king. Before being, hundreds of kings have gone. By listening to whose name the whole world was trembling. Where are they? I am not the first one to get married before people are married and gone. What? Nothing happened to them. I am not the first one to be the richest person or the most powerful person. There are so many people are there. So what happened to them? This is not the ultimate. One day it will come to an end. After that, what happens? Just like Nachiketas. After that, what happens? One day, okay, you give me the kingdom. Will it last forever? Can the Guru say yes? No, it will not last forever. One day it will come to an end. Shall I be king forever? No, it will come to an end. Then after that, what happens? I want that. Vasishtha was so happy. He came back and told the king, don't worry. This is not the frustration of the frustrated. This is the frustration of the discriminative. Therefore, he is ready for teaching. Come, send him to my ashram. So he takes Rama for teaching. So when the person gets into these early hints of conflict, psychology is worried. The moment somebody gets into a conflict, usually today's, I don't want to be very harsh word like a mind merchant or something, but just like some people make money out of the physical sickness, some people make out of mental sickness. Just think of it. They're worried. So try to give palliatives. Don't have this, don't have that, or give them some drugs, antidepressant, anti-this. Okay, there are certain clinical things. Let's not be worried about it. Let somebody solve their problem as they like. Don't worry. But conflict is not a sign of sickness. The conflict is a sign of growth. The price that you have to pay for your growth is loss of innocence. If you don't lose your innocence, you shall be an idiot. As a child, you are growing up. So as you are getting educated, you get into conflict. That is why today's world is much more conflict-ridden, because much more educated people. If ancient time it was everything was very, very nice, it is because nobody was educated. They didn't have that type of conflict, except basic conflicts. They didn't have any conflict. Today, emotional conflict. So many different types of emotions. Imagine, just take up a marriage. Just take up a marriage. Usually, marriages are a huge sense of conflict because two people come together. Usually, even those days, now also. Rama and Sita also had a little misunderstanding. Sometimes Krishna and his wives also. Just I'm telling legendary. You know, Yudhishthira had his, not Yudhishthira, what is his name? Dasaratha had his wives. Because other people's name we don't remember. But every person, whether they're kings or subject, everybody will have a conflict. Usually they'll have conflict. The marriage brings the conflict. Why? Because two people, two different minds are coming together. Now take up the concept of marriage today. Previously, marriage meant what? Boy selected, girl selected, marry, finish. Boy has no choice, girl has no choice, just marry. That was maybe hundreds and hundreds of years back. Even before that also, horrible it must have been. If you are the king, like in many times in some of the African kingdoms, you have 40 wives, 50 wives, any annual parade, whomsoever the king likes, that becomes the queen for that year. There is a country like that, it was publicized just last year in the paper. So he has 40, 50 wives. Anyway, so those days, let us see like that. But then, nobody likes it anymore. How can a man have so many wives? No. It should be, marriage means only one wife, one husband. That's very good. But sometimes polygamy, polyandry, that also are there. Now come to today's marriage. You may marry, you may not marry. In France, why France? In many countries now, if you go, two people live together and having children also, 1, 2, 3 children, still not married in the ordinary sense of the term. They have not exchanged vows, they have not, but legally they can write up somewhere, they can be legally married. Marriage. What do you do? Acha. That generation which had accepted an arranged marriage or society's involvement, what will they think about this? Terrible conflict, right? Suppose his daughter says, you must get married. No, I am living with my boyfriend. The son is, you must get married. I have got a sitting-in girlfriend. Huh? The orthodox old parents, what will happen to them? Oh, every society, they must have been shocked for the first time. Not in India or America. It's a human society. Huh? How can you do that? But when everybody starts doing it, now your question drops out. Your question drops out with everybody doing it. That's another sin after some time. Now that homosexual marriage, same-sex marriage. Boy, boy. Huh? How can you say boy, boy? Oh my God, terrible. You cannot. Girl, girl. Ha, horrible. You cannot. But who listens to you? Boy, boy. Girl, girl. Now what do you do? Ah, my son is a gay. My son is a lesbian. Daughter is lesbian. Same-sex. Shock. This conflict, was it there for 200 years back? Just think, 200 years back, do you have this conflict? 200 years back, 300 years back, your property is your property, my property is my property. There is not even a fence. Happy. Nowadays, I want 100 acres, 200 acres, this country, that country, this empire. Oh my God. The kings were doing that. Now, those the kings were doing. Kings were winning country. Now the industrialist is grabbing, monopolizing industry after industry, industrial empire, new royalty. So conflict, you see how many conflicts are coming now.